Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Nagendra. In the last video, we have created a Fiori application, and in that process, we have also learned about different UI annotations as well. As a result, we have got this application. Till now, everything looks fine, but only thing that is missing is the ability to perform transactions, such as create, update, delete. Now in this video, we are going to learn about behavior definition, which will actually enable transaction capabilities to our list report. Without wasting another minute, let's dive in. Okay, let me go back to the architecture again. So this is really important because we have to understand what exactly we are doing here. So we have created data modeling and we have created a service definition, a service binding, and we have consumed that Fiori application, which is actually a read-only application. In the sense, it's a list report application. Right now, we cannot do any CRUD operations. Like the next thing we have to do is a behavior definition. Actually, behavior definition is something which will enable transactional capabilities for our list report application. Now let me take this part out and see what exactly a behavior definition is. Behavior definition actually contains three important parts. The first one is a standard operation. This is where we declare what kind of operation that we are interested to provide to this application, such as create, update, delete, right? And the second part is application specific operations. Here we actually has the ability to perform actions directly from the UI. For example, if you want to set the status of a specific sales order, you can have a button for that and you can do the action just to set the status. These are all application specific operations, whereas code operations are standard operations such as create, update, delete. The third part is defining a lock property. Lock property is something like which will support locking mechanism within this behavior definition. Without further ado, let's create a behavior definition for our CDS view and we'll see how it reflects on the UI. Let me switch to Eclipse now. This is a CDS view that we have created in the last video. I have made a slight modification to the annotations so that which will be comfortable for us to create, delete, update operations. And you can copy this sample code from my GitHub repository I have created. Let me show you. This is a new repository that I have created, which actually says ABAP on cloud from part 5. Right now we are in part 5 of this series, and whatever the example that we see here, you can find it here from this part. We'll start creating the behavior definition. Where do we start creating behavior definition? If you look at the code data service folder, under that we have another folder called behavior definition. Let me right click here and click on new behavior definition. Here we need to actually choose the root entity, which is nothing but our CDS view that we have created. What is our CDS view name? Which is GC Sales Master. Let me choose it by clicking on browsing button, and it is already there, and I will choose my CDS view. System will automatically generate behavior definition. You can provide the description here, and we have given everything: name, description, root entity. And if you look at this option called implementation type, this is something little important as well as you must be aware of. Let's have a look at what is managed and unmanaged. Managed is best used when implementing completely new business logic. What does it mean? Suppose the customer is new to SAP and he wants to start developing applications. There is no database tables like custom tables for the customer, and he wants to start creating new application on top of his business. In that case, whoever developing those application has to start from the scratch. This is a case we need to use managed. So what are the advantages of managed? So when you create an application from a scratch, the standard operations such as create, delete, updated will be automatically taken care by the system. You do not have to write any specific function modules or BAPIs to insert data, delete or anything. Standard operation will be automatically taken care. And you only have to focus on the business logic, like specific actions that you want to perform, such as validations, determinations. And the next thing is unmanaged, is best used when using existing legacy business logic. Here we have already some applications and we want to transform them into a Fiori application. We have all the business logic, everything. But the application that we are going to develop in Fiori, we can reuse this business logic by specifying it as an unmanaged behavior definition. Here we have to implement everything. Like suppose if you want to create something, you have to write specific logic for that. If you want to delete, update, if you have already FMs which are already existed in your system and you want to reuse them like BAPIs, function modules, everything you can use to develop the application. So unmanaged scenario is best suited when using existing legacy business logic. Managed is something when you are starting freshly, like for a greenfield implementation. And unmanaged scenarios where you have already the logic and you want to reuse that logic in your Fiori application when you are developing with RESTful ABAP programming model. I hope you clear. This is my fresh application. Here I have selected managed because we are developing everything from the scratch. If you observe, we have created our database table, we have created our sales order table, we have added UI annotation. We did not use any existing logic. For that reason, I have selected managed. So then I will click on next. It will ask for the tier, click on finish. This is the interesting part here. We actually model behavior definition using BDL, which is called behavior definition language. Just like we have DDL, DML, right? Like data manipulation language. Behavior definition language is newly introduced with RESTful ABAP programming model. Using this, we can model behavior definition. We'll start from the first line. So we'll try to understand each and every line so that we'll be comfortable with behavior definition. And don't get scared by looking at all these new keywords. And let me start from the beginning. So here you see implementation in class Z, BP, C sales order. So forget about this line and also whatever which is commented. So here what it exactly saying is it is a managed one because we have selected as a managed behavior definition. We have to tell the system that I am implementing this behavior definition for what kind of operations: create, update, and delete. If you look at the diagram that I have shown earlier, these are the three things which are part of behavior definition. One is standard operations, which we have already defined here. There are some errors we'll resolve step by step. And one is application specific operations, which are nothing but actions. Right now I'm not going to show any example on actions. First we'll get clear with standard operations. In the next episode or next video, I'll be able to show you an example on action as well. For now we'll stick to standard operations. And also one more thing is called log property. Let me finish the first line. Managed. We have to specify also implementation. This is how syntax looks. We have to start with implementation, which is managed define behavior for Z sales master. This is nothing but our CDS view. So we are defining behavior for this specific CDS view. If you want to provide alias, you can also provide here. I will call it as sales. And the next one is persistent table. Right now we are actually enabling create, delete, update operations. When you are creating a record, the record should actually store in this specific table, but because this is the main database table that we are actually performing everything, like from creation of CDS view to annotations, everything. This is our base table. Whatever the creation, update, deletion, whatever you do, this is where all the records get stored. For that reason, we have to specify the persistent table, which is nothing but Z sales master. This is our database table. And the next one is authorization master, e tag. These are not relevant for this example. I will just simply remove. And log master. Let me do not give the log master and see what is the error that I will get. When I mouse over on define, so log master must be specified for the implementation managed. So this is something we need to be careful when you're defining a behavior definition for managed scenario. You need to provide log master, so this actually take care of locking mechanism, so this will support locking mechanism as well. That's it. We have completed this log property and standard operation we have included in our behavior definition. Application specific one that we will cover in the next video. Now once I have created the behavior definition, I can just simply do a syntax check, and I'll activate by clicking on Control F3. Since this is a managed, as I said earlier, we do not have to write anything for create, update, deletion. The system will automatically take care of all this. If you want to implement specific actions on this, that is when we have to go for implementation. This part I will be covering in the next video. Once I activated this behavior definition, and I can go back to my service binding, and I'll select my respective entity and I'll click on preview. Let's see how the app looks. Alright, this is our previous application. Now we have added behavior definition for this. Let me refresh this. Now the app is loading. Now I am able to see create, delete options as well. Let me click on go. Let me select a record here. Here I have specified edit, delete operations, and also here we can see delete as well, create as well. If I can select any record, if I click on delete, this record will be deleted. Before that, I would like to point out few things here. If you observe, we are not able to see the description for sales order and customer as well here. So this is the customer field. Since this is a key field, automatically it has come as a mandatory. But let me solve this issue. How we can solve this? First of all, we need to identify where these labels actually coming from. If you look at this total price, let me go back to my CDS view and check that particular field. Here I have actually specified it as a total sales. If you also look at the label here, it says sales price. But when I see here, it is showing total price. What is happening here? If you go back to our base table, let me click on F3 here, and it will take me to the base table. Look at the data element for this, which is DMO total price. If you click on F3 by placing your cursor on this data element, it will navigate to the data element section. This is actually where the description is being picked up when we are navigating from initial page to the detail object view. Here I see total price, which is coming from my data element. When I go back here I actually see sales price, which is actually coming from the label. So what we need to do for sales order? Sales order, we do not have any data element here. So I need to add a data element for sales order and customer. Leave it to you guys. You can create a data element to show the description. For now, I'll create data element for sales order. Here I'll say z sales underscore ort, which is I have already created. Let me activate this, and when I navigate to this particular data element, I can see the description as sales order and sales number. And I'll go back to my app. Let me refresh here. When I navigate here, now I can see the description which is coming from my data element. This is the reason sales order label was not coming initially. The moral of the story is when you specify Identification, these fields will be pushed to the detail object overview. There it is actually taking the labels from data element that we have specified at the database level. This is what I have observed. And now I'll click on edit. Now I can see a sales order and I can update the price. For sales order 4, I'm updating the price at 30 and I will change the currency code to euros and I'll click on save. Your changes have been saved. When I go back here, 30 euros are updated here. You can also create new record. Click on create and I'll specify 111 total price and I'll give a customer name as 1100. Total price I'll provide 900 USD and customer name. Here is the glitch. Customer name is not part of our database table. This is a child entity. Here we are not doing any operations on the child entity. Directly we are doing on the root entity, which is nothing but our G sales master. So customer name is not part of it. So now what we have to do, since we are not updating anything, we better disable this column so that user will not be able to enter any values here. For that, right now let me save this. There is another option that we can do at the behavior definition level to make certain columns as readable. Let me save this first. 111 is the new record that I have created and which is actually showing up here. And also you can perform delete operations, delete object, and I have deleted the first record which actually deleted from my database. The next thing is we need to disable this customer name. How can I disable this? Let me switch back to my behavior definition. There is an option called field. Here you can say read only. Here you can specify what are the fields that you want to make them as read only. Here I will say customer name. You need to end with semicolon and let me activate this. I'll again come back to this screen. Sometimes your changes may not reflect immediately, so you need to refresh a couple of times. You may have to go back and activate every corresponding object at the backend. At the Eclipse, like activating your definition CDS view. Sometimes in order to reflect, sometimes you need to activate. So I'll click on go and I'll see if my customer name is read only. I will click on edit. Let's see. Still it is showing up as editable. Let me reactivate everything. Here I'll also reactivate my CDS view. Also I will reactivate. And this one as well. And I will come back, reload everything. Click on go, select a record, click on edit. Now I can see the customer name is in display mode. This is how you can manipulate the properties of specific fields from the behavior definition itself. What if you want to specify more than one field? You can simply separate with by comma, and you can specify what are the fields that you want to make them as read only. So for example, you can try that as an exercise. So this is how you can define a behavior for a specific CDS view. In the next video, we'll try to implement an action. For that, we have to define the behavior in this manner. Like we have to specify implementation in which class we are going to write the logic, and also we need to specify the action here as well. For example, like this, you see action or action name, result, there is some cardinality, the self. Let me remove this. We will discuss about everything here. So this is looking like a server-side JavaScript, but it's not. It's very simple, and we'll talk about action in the next video. And thanks for watching. See you guys. Have a fantastic day.